point your finger at someone else to blame for something, always remember there are more fingers pointed at yourself than anybody else. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy FRE, $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why, just check out the channel. And welcome to another episode of Jeep Talk. This is Jeep Talk episode 74, the blame game. So earlier this morning, I wake up and I peruse the internet on YouTube, Instagram to get the daily check-in. The president's State of the Union was last night. I watched a YouTube video on I forgot who channel. I think something to Don. His channel, and it was about who's to blame for the situation in the United States, and what is the outcome, or what is the way that would work that hasn't worked in the past that we've been using. One thing I'll say is this, y'all. It is so easy to blame others for your position that people no longer in this era even want to try to fix the reason, the position they're in. They'd rather spend more time blaming others for them being in their position than fixing the position you're in. Now I'm gonna speak on this as different and from different communities, from being on the YouTube as a content creator, from being in the black community, from being in the finance community. I'm going to speak to this at different community points, because I think it's very important that I specify exactly different communities I'm in. So let's start with a content creator. There are a lot of people who complain about what other content creators do on their channel. Travel, finance, mongering, talk show, reactionary content. But the reason why they're complaining about what other people are doing is because they have a deeper inner feeling that it is the reason why they're not succeeding. A lot of content creators go on their channel and blast down other content creators, even if it's something that isn't worldly accepted, but they blast down other content creators because they themselves are not as successful as they would like to be, and the person who they're blasting down, at least in their eyes, tends to seem more successful. The blame game. It is easier to say, hey, these people are messing up the travel community. These people are messing up black economic community. These people are messing up this and this and this. Then to put the blame at yourself and say, hey, why am I not achieving what I want to achieve? And it appears that somebody else is doing so. There's this guy, pocket watching with JT, and I watched a couple of his episodes. It was really good. It was good. But the overall idea of it, of pocket watching, and if you're not mentally capable of doing that as well as building your own, it's going to start feel like you're hating on people. It's going to start appearing at that, and it most likely could be that you are blaming others for the lack of financial success that you have. Now we move to the finance world, y'all. People will say, oh, this person is scamming everybody. This person is scamming everybody. And they keep pointing out who's scamming everybody because they're financially not where they're at. And they're saying the reason why I'm not where I'm financially supposed to be is because I'm not willing to scam everybody like this person. So when y'all celebrate this person, that's a bad thing. He's to blame for me not being successful because he or she is running scams and they're making money off of it. The blame game. It's so much easier to blame others for messing up stuff or for changing stuff, living the life they want to live, than to put the blame on yourself. Remember, every time you point at somebody, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 fingers pointed back at yourself. It's so much easier to put the blame on everybody else than to blame that what you're doing isn't working. And that it's your responsibility to change what you're doing to fit the way you want to live, to fit the way you want to do it. We've gotten to a point, again, as I watch all these people, oh my God, they're messing up Thailand, they're messing up Brazil, they're messing up Colombia, because they're going over there and they're spending all this money on these women, and the women are expecting a lot now. And the women are changing. And the country is so dangerous now because people are going over there with change and all this stuff. They put the blame on others instead of putting the blame on themselves. Say, hey, I am not economically in a position to get the women I want overseas because now they're costing more money. Just with time. Not putting a blame on anyone, just logically with time. The women are costing more money. And I don't have enough money to spend on the women. So now I need to blame somebody instead of trying to figure out a way I can get more money. Or I can reach around the money and maybe learn the language so that it doesn't cost me what it costs others to get the women. But again, it is so much easier to blame others for the hard times that people are having that people can't come to this, and I'll shout you guys out in the chat in a second. People can't come to the realization that the one to truly be blamed is you. If you can no longer function in the place, in the way, in the manner that you functioned before because times change and you did not change, it's not the people's fault that can change, that can adjust, that can pay more. That it's not the people's fault who can speak the language. It's not the people's fault who can bond with the people in the culture without getting scoped or robbed. It's your fault for not adjusting. It's you're to blame. Remember, 1 finger pointed at the person, 4 fingers pointed at yourself. It's you're to blame that you cannot achieve what you want to achieve in this world. If you're just walking in, this is Jeep Talk, episode 74, the blame game. I'm pretty sure it's going to mess up right here because we're going over the hill. And as y'all know, it is snowing like, well, it's drizzling. It's snowed like hell this whole week in Jersey. But I felt as though, this is a conversation that we needed to have. Shout out to Links in the room. He said, ting-a-ling-ting, school bell ring. Listen, man. Unfortunately, even in the thumbnail, I got the black people who point to white people say white people are the issue. I got white people pointing to immigrants saying immigrants are the issue. Immigrants pointing to the United States government, the United States government the issue. The United States government pointing to schools, saying schools are the issue. Schools pointing back to black people, saying their families are not taking care of their kids, black people are the issue. But everybody's pointing, nobody's making a difference. Nobody's making a difference. What's going on, OG Demands? You have advanced in life. You have to advance. Yes, Navigator 185 says, ooh, you have to advance in life to better yourself. Or, here's a better way of saying that, Navigator. You have to better yourself to advance in life. You have to better yourself to advance in life. The biggest thing while things are not working, yes, did black people get in the United States have redlining where we could not purchase property? Yes, we did. There are some people who took that and ran with it and never tried to obtain properties. And there's some people who found a way through the redlining to obtain properties, to increase their wealth. We can't sit and be the blame. We can't sit and keep doing the blame game because that's not changing anything, y'all. The blame game is not changing anything for anybody. If anything, it's making things worse because now so much is in deep blame. Everyone's pointing the finger. No work is getting done. No work is getting done. It's so hard to make it in the United States. It's so hard because the government did this. It's so hard because they did this. All right, we'll go to another country. Learn how to build in another country. Oh, I don't want the I'm about to live again. I had a conversation. He was he's a media guy, and we were just talking about what's going on in America and what's going on in life. And I was bringing this point up, like, hey, you guys are blaming everybody for everything that's going wrong in the black community. You're blaming everybody because, oh, the president doesn't allow this, the government's not allowing this, they're holding back like this. All right, so go somewhere else in another country and build the same way Elon Musk did, the same way a lot of immigrants do when they come to the United States. I told a guy, and this guy I'm talking about, this guy has almost 500,000 subscribers now. He's in a political, well, in an urban like political talk field. And I'm sitting on his channel, and then all of a sudden he gets emotional, and he goes, "Man, fuck, f all this. I don't want to move. We not leaving shit. You talking some BS. This is this." And I'm like, you know what, brother? I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm going to leave your panel because you're talking in a way that doesn't benefit either one of us. And it doesn't benefit you because it makes you look like you're an emotional person. It makes you look like you cannot control your destiny because somebody else is to blame. And I don't think that looks strong for you. For a black man, I don't think that makes you look powerful. I think that makes you look weak. I'm gonna just leave your platform because and then unfortunately, some people on his own platform started reacting to him, telling him the same thing I was telling him. But unfortunately, it's easier to blame society than to blame yourself for not making the changes you need to do to adapt to what the situation is now. And so, I watched his show the other day. I don't want to say his name. I watched the show the other day, and he's still out doing the same thing. But it's okay because that's the life he chooses. But you can choose different. You can figure out how to change yourself in order to fit the lifestyle you want. Instead of blaming the white people, blaming the immigrants, blaming the government, blaming the scopolamine queens, blaming all these people. Because mothers, the more the real blame gets pointed back to you for not adjusting or changing or understanding the environment. Shout out to Mustafa. Let's see. He says nobody is coming to save you. You have to save yourself. That's a concept that most people will never get. And the reason why most people will never get is because we have generations. And I can only speak as a black man, but I'm pretty sure this is white. I'm pretty sure this is Native American. I'm pretty sure this is Latino. I'm pretty sure this is every single ethnicity there is. We have generations on generations that have gotten so lazy or gotten so lost or emotionally disconnected from reality that they consistently blame others instead of trying to change their position, because that's the easy route. The easy route is to blame others rather than try to break, as Anthony said, try to break the cycle and change what happened. I gotta go this way because this way I know it's gonna die out. It's unrealistic at this point. I mean, I am an optimist in the sense of I hope for the best. I strive to get for the best possible outcome. But I am also more importantly, I am a realist, a person who sees what is without emotion, or without massive emotion, without my automatic mind thinking, and I just call it how it is. I can't foresee the majority of people, I can't foresee the majority of people stop playing this blame game. I see it on all kinds of creators channel every day. Oh my God, it's this woman's fault. Why I don't have any money now because I went to Thailand. I went to Philippines. That's Italian. I went to Philippines and I found the love of my life, and I invested all this money, and then she took my house, and then she took my money, and then now I'm broke living on the street. But I want to blame Filipino women instead of blaming myself for not doing the research to find out this is possible. I want to get married in the States because who wants to go overseas? Who has to go overseas to get married? I can find the love of my life in the United States. And now I find the love of my life in the United States. We're together and we're happy. And then she cheats on me and I beg her to stay, but she leaves. And when she leaves, she takes half of my money. She takes half of my money. She takes control of the kids. I gotta beg the courts to give me the right to see my kids. I gotta blame her. I gotta blame the court system. I gotta blame the world instead of blaming myself for not doing the research to find out that this is how it majorly works in the States. This is the standard. And this is the standard that I wanted to be part of because I didn't do the research. But it's easier to blame the women for, oh, these women ain't shit. It's easy to blame the government. Man, the government don't like us, man. It's easy to blame the concept of marriage. Marriage ain't for everybody because this and this. But the hardest thing is always the last thing people do. Blame yourself for actually not doing the research, not doing the knowledge check, and not trying to find a way so you don't end up in this situation. Pinay says, why would I blame my fat self when I can blame skinny immigrants? Again, y'all, why would I? It's so easier, but the easy way is not always the. Make sure I got all your message. The easy way is not. I don't say well never, because sometimes the easy way is the answer. But the easiest way is usually never the best way. The best way or the most straightforward path. It's the blame game, y'all. 2026, we are playing a blame game at the highest level ever. The highest level ever. Like, I watched what is it called? I watched the presidential state of a nation last night with Donald Trump on it and stuff. And a lot of stuff he's saying, I was like, I can see changes. It's a lot of fluff. It's a lot of fluff. A lot of the stuff did make changes. But whether you're the Republican or Democrat, whether you believe the changes were positive or negative, the fact that there's never been this much change in any society of the United States that I've known, there's never been this much change. We finally get to see something rather than the status quo of just keeping things stable. And here's what a lot of people don't understand. The more nothing changes, the more nothing changes. Whether it's better, and this is going to sound crazy, so that it's better for you to understand what you like, that things change for either the worse or the better in the United States than to keep the status quo for the majority of us people that want to succeed. Let me tell you why. Because if what Donald Trump plan makes is the worst plan ever, we will understand that we no longer want to go that way. We no longer want to follow that route. If it ends up being the best plan for the majority of Americans or for the Americans, then we know, okay, let's keep that route going. But what we've had over the past, and I'm talking about Republican and Democrat, what we've had over the past decade, maybe even, I'm 41, so maybe even 2 decades, because I really don't understand stuff to you 18, 20. What we've had over the past 2 decades has been a lot of no change. A lot of no change. And when nothing changes, nothing changes. We can blame everybody in the world for the problems. We can blame the government. We can blame the hood, the dudes from the hood. We can blame the drug dealers. We can blame the celebrities. We can blame the schools. We can blame everything. But if nothing changes, nothing changes. Nothing changes. And this, regardless if you think it's positive or negative, it's better to have an extreme this way or an extreme this way so we can know where we fall at and fight for towards where we fall at than to have no change like we've had the last 10 to 20 years in the government. So when I watched it last night, I said, oh, this is going to be interesting to see. These next couple years is going to be interesting to watch how things move. But I'm not going to focus on who to blame over these next couple of years. I'm going to focus on how do I adjust to where I want to be? How do I adjust my life to where I want to be? And one of the things that I'm adjusting my life right now, since we talked about this a little bit, you guys got any questions? Feel free to ask a question. I blame I blame the donut shops for making me fat. Penny, that's exactly how it works. I blame the donut shop for making me fat. I blame fried chicken for me having heart issues and cholesterol problems. I blame sugar for me being diabetic. I blame everybody but myself. Taking accountability is the hardest thing to do. It is the hardest thing to do for everybody, for the majority of people. Some people, I feel like myself, can still do it, but there are times where it's a little bit more difficult to take accountability because you see how easy it is to blame somebody for the issues. Listen, man, this is not a motivational talk. This is not this I was preaching. This is just me expressing my thoughts on this Jeep Talk episode 74, the blame game. It is so much easier to blame everybody around you, and that's because we've generationally been taught this is the way. Republicans blame Democrats. Democrats blame Republicans. Rich people blame poor people. Poor people blame rich people. Women blame men. Men blame women. It's nothing changes. Nothing changes. I choose to move my life a little bit differently. So again, for me moving forward, my idea that I'm going to come up with, and we're over the time now. We're almost at the station. Because I'm on my way to retirement. I'm 41 years old. I plan on retiring at 50. That's the time when I'm going to start retiring from this job. I'll still be doing YouTube. I'll still be giving my speeches. I'll still be doing real estate. But I'll be retiring from my main job because I've had maybe over 30 years by the time I retire. I want to start trying to go to Colombia, where I feel as though I'm my second home, every other month. And to be able to go to Colombia every other month, I have to adjust myself. I can't blame my job for not giving me as many days off as I want to do it. I have to try to do the Jeep. I have to try to adjust my living to fit what I want. So I'm looking to see how much it'll cost in advance to do so. And I just booked my next one. So right now, February I was in Colombia. March I won't be in Colombia. April I'll be in Colombia. May I probably won't be in Colombia. Now I'm trying to see if June I'll be in Colombia. July I won't be in Colombia. August we're back in Colombia for Petronio Alvarez Music Festival. September I won't be in Colombia. Then October, depending on when my brother wants to go for his birthday, I might be in Colombia as well. Because I understand that I could blame my job for not giving me making it easy for me to take the days off to be there for a week every month, every other month, or I can try to figure out a way to do this, and that's what I want to do, because I don't want to be at the end of my life and then I'm blaming my job for me not living the life I wanted to live. I'm blaming, I had to work and work stopped me from living, and now I'm 65 years old and I finally get to retire, but I don't have my health. But I want to blame the cost of economics that I don't have my health when I retire, and I can't just go live the life I want to live, which is why I'm retiring early at 50, which is why I'm trying to adjust my lifestyle now to be able to do so. The blame game, man. You could blame, at the end of your life, you could blame all the people in the world for you being in the position you are. But that's not going to change anything. If you want to be, if the thing that you want the most is to be in that position. Imagine I want to be a doctor, but I don't want to go to school because school is too expensive. So I don't go to school, and I never become a doctor. And now I blame school being too expensive to be a doctor. There's so many examples of this, y'all. It is so many examples of this, and I don't want to sign a prenup, right? All my friends tell me to sign a prenup. My wife, she doesn't want me to sign a prenup, and I don't sign a prenup. Then I get all my money taken from me. I want to have I want to have a big wedding. I want to have a small wedding. My wife wants to have a big wedding, and then I want to blame the cost of the wedding while we don't have no money. When we after we marry, while we $30,000 in debt, we $40,000 in debt, we $50,000 in debt because I didn't want to take accountability and tell my wife we're not having a big wedding because that $60,000 could be a down deposit on the house. Oh, I want to blame my wife because my wife wants a one-family house. She wants us to live in a one-family house, knowing that it's going to be me, her, and the kids living in one house. But I know that's a liability. So I'm telling my wife I want a duplex where we can make money off of one side of the house. But my wife says she's not going to stand for that, and so I'm going to blame her for me having to struggle every day at the same job, having to work every day at the same job, and hoping the job doesn't let me go, and hoping the job doesn't lay off workers, so that I can afford this lifestyle that my wife wants because I was too afraid to tell my wife I'm not doing this and hold responsibility because it's easier to blame her if it happens than to try to fight and tell her, listen, we won't be doing this before it happens. So many examples, that real life examples. Maybe you guys, we almost at the job, maybe you guys can give some real life examples of your own of the blame game and how not taking responsibility or accountability for your change in your life has put people in worse predicaments than they ever been. Again, I was talking to a woman last night. Now y'all know I'm trying to have a kid in Colombia, right? I was talking to a woman last night, one of the fire women I met in my last trip in Barranquilla. And she actually opened up and said, let's have this conversation about having a kid, right? And I was like, all right, cool, let's have this conversation. So as we started to have a conversation, I started to see how unrealistic her expectations were of what she thinks she needed or what she thinks she deserved or what she desired. Now, we're still cool, we can still kick it, we can still do that stuff, but I know now, if I get her pregnant, the only one blame is on me because she's already put out her unrealistic ideas of what having a kid looks like. Let me give you guys a little bit of what she said. She said, listen, if I have a kid, I need you to get me a house or an apartment in my name, in her name, so that she can feel comfortable like I won't just kick her out. I said, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. You want somebody who you're just having a kid with, and you haven't been with for a long period of time, to spend 70,000 USD on you. Well, she says, well, I can also go with give me 7,000 USD a month and that'll cover me and the kid. I said, wait a minute. Let's be realistic here. Now, I'm not saying that I'm trying to convince you to dull your standards, but I just want to be realistic with you. In the United States, people do not make people do not spend $7,000 a month on their family. The majority of people, only the top 5%, maybe not even the top 10%, only the top 5% spend close to $7,000 a month. And you're telling me that's what you ideally think that someone's going to give you or you're going to require to spend as a parent in Colombia. Baby, that doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm not telling you that you shouldn't strive for that, but it doesn't make any sense. Now, if I go and no matter all of that she tells me, go and have a kid with her, I know it's my fault that if she's out there doing what she got to do to get to that 7K, even though I'm still giving her money. So it's like, it's just, in every life situation, you get a point where you can make a choice that's going to lead you down two different paths. But whatever path you end down, you cannot blame the people who are along that path for your position when you made that decision or you lacked to make that decision to change the path you were on. All right, y'all. We're here at the job, man. We're getting ready to go punch in, man. I just wanted to have this conversation about the blame game. So, like, the next time you think, oh, let me blame Donald Trump, Let me blame the Democrats. Let me blame the black people. Let me blame the white people. Let me blame the hood people. Let me blame the travelers who are traveling internationally, tricking off all this money in Colombia and Brazil, and let me blame them for changing the economy out there. Every time you point your finger at somebody, there's at least one, two, three, if not four, pointed back at yourself, because your inability to adjust to the new environment and create a lifestyle that works for you is never on somebody else's thing. It's never on somebody else's fault, because you only are responsible for you. And shout out to Johnny Cash in the building. Again, I don't call people names. I just say, listen, if they decide to go for that move, then that's on them. But again, they cannot turn around and then start blaming the women in the Philippines for taking all their money and for leaving them homeless. Or if the women in Thailand, or the women in Colombia, or the women in Brazil, or the women in the United States, because you understood the thing and didn't think to figure out a way not to blame others, but just change the thing yourself. It is what it is, and it is what it is. I appreciate life is what you make it, man. I appreciate everybody for joining this live. This was Jeep Talk episode 74, The Blame Game. It's your boy FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why, just check out the channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.